for equal pay, but this is all just smoke and mirrors. Female staffers at the White House are paid just 88 cents for every dollar male employees earn.
I still don't understand why you're saying that's evidence of discrimination outside the White House, but the same metric is not evidence of discrimination inside the White House. I mean, it's the same metric.
Well, first of all, again, if you want to compare metrics, we're doing better than the public at large.
Better than the outside?
And top Democrats also pay female employees less than men. According to an analysis of salary figures collected from the Secretary of the Senate, female staffers in Democratic Senate offices were paid just 91 cents for each dollar paid to male staffers. Men received higher average salaries in more than 2/3 of the 43 Senate offices analyzed. Many of the senators with the largest pay disparity between men and women are facing re-election battles in 2014. Considering how important the female vote is to Democrats, it's not a wonder there's this huge equal pay day push. Senator Dick Durbin, who is leading the push by Senate Democrats to pass the Paycheck Fairness Act, pays women on his staff far less than he pays men. Female staffers in Senator Mark Warner's office are paid 72 cents on the dollar compared to male staffers, and it's just 71 cents to the dollar for female employees of Senator Mark Begich.
It's not just about women and their families. It's about building a stronger, more resilient middle class in America that has been under stress and threat now for decades.
Well, she's very passionate for a senator who pays her female employees just 82 cents for every dollar her male staffers earn. And there are numerous other senators up for re-election with a large gender wage gap. The Democratic Party, the White House, they don't actually care about equal pay for women. It's already illegal to discriminate based on gender under the Equal Pay Act of 1963. What they care about is retaining power, being re-elected, and keeping women from seeing their hypocrisy.
The knowledge of the ancients, tried and true, trusted herbs and extracts fused with the latest nutraceutical science. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend, crafted with over 14 key ancient herbs and extracts to supercharge and prepare your body for what experts admit is the most dangerous season of the year. We have rejected hundreds of other formulations in our quest to bring you what is simply the most powerful and comprehensive proprietary formula that we have ever created in the realm of herbal immunity. For the last 2 years, our team has been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to develop the ultimate nutraceutical formulation. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. Now is the time to secure Ancient Defense for you and your family. Visit ancientdefense.com or call 888-253-3139. That's ancientdefense.com. Break down why you're so proud of these filters.
Well, I mean, the Alexa Pure is really a culmination of all of my experience. It was posed to me as an extremely challenging project. They wanted a product that would actually operate without any electricity, so you had no pressure. You had to do it all by gravity, and they really effectively said, we need everything imaginable to be removed efficiently, way higher than 99%. And so the result was it's an extreme challenge. Worked on it for quite a long time. And basically what we've done is we created the only filter, to my knowledge, that hits all three. It will remove effectively all the major metals, all the major non-metals such as fluoride. It will take out all known microbiological threats, including viral, bacterial, and cyst. And it will take out organic chemicals of pretty much everything without exception. It's a very, very powerful device. I don't believe that there's anything else out there in the world that can do that, especially under gravity flow conditions. The fit and finish are fantastic. No compromise was made on the quality of the construction. So, I mean, it's really a remarkable achievement on their part, and I feel very proud, actually, to be part of the team that put that together.
What's your view overall on fluoride?
Well, okay, so we actually tested against both the fluoride ion and the fluorosilicate that you mentioned, which is the additive that people put into water under federal control. And basically, we removed both of them with equal efficiency. So we wanted to be sure that no matter how fluoride is added to the water, it can be intercepted and removed. So that's how we've dealt with that. All I can tell you is that we tested against all known fluoride chemicals that are added to water, the new ones and the old ones, and we removed them all of equal efficiency.
And it's your belief that this is the best gravity-fed filter of the design out there available to the public?
Without a doubt. I mean, most of these gravity flow filters are at best simple particulate filters. They remove dirt and debris, sediment. They're not going to be capable of intercepting a viral particle to the degree we're talking quantitative reduction below detection. No one can touch that kind of capability.
Well, I'm impressed, and I want to thank you so much for your time today. It is the Alexa Pure Pro family of water filtration systems available, discounted exclusively at InfoWarsStore.com. I want to thank Mr. Red Hawk for allowing us to be part of the launch of this. It's on sale right now for their main unit, $177. Leading competitors that aren't even as good are more than that. And they've also got the survival spring type straw system for survival that is an absolute must-have.
My house was downwind about 1.5 miles from where the original piles sat out. And I was one of the children who played in the creek with my brother, all the neighborhood kids. We had our own forts. We played in the creek all day in the summers. We'd ice skate it during the winters. We loved that creek. You know, it was a really fun time. And now to think that we were playing in poison, it doesn't really... You can't take away those good memories for me, so I'm still trying to hold on to some of the good, but it's just mind-bending to think that here we are, children, we're having the time of our lives, and it was eventually going to kill a lot of people, and we had no idea.
In the early 1940s, the nuclear arms race was on. A local St. Louis corporation played a significant role in the development of the first nuclear weapons during World War II. As part of the Manhattan Project, Mallinckrodt Chemical Works began processing their uranium for the first atomic bomb. But by the mid-1940s, the company had run out of space at its downtown St. Louis location, so it began to ship the radioactive waste off-site to an underpopulated area north of St. Louis. The radioactive materials were stored in bulk, on the ground, open to the elements, and unattended next to Coldwater Creek.
Many people have difficulty understanding how silent, invisible rays, which cannot even be felt, could be so damaging. Our bodies are made up of millions of cells. They're the building blocks of our blood and tissues. When radiation penetrates the body, the cells are injured. Most of them can repair themselves if the total dose over a period of time is not too high. But if radiation continues, the cells will be destroyed beyond repair.
There's a photograph that always pops up every once in a while, and I even have a copy of it. And it shows some of the Mallinckrodt workers back in the 50s, and they were in the Weldon Springs plant, and they were sweeping up, I guess you'd call them ingots that look like the shells. Those are the shells itself that actually contained the uranium. So those shells itself actually was contaminated solid material. So while they're sweeping that up, they are directly being exposed to a much higher dose of radiation at one given time. And that happened quite often. My father started working for Mallinckrodt in 1953, and he, through the years, he worked at all three plants. It's Mallinckrodt on Broadway, worked at the Weldon Springs plant, and also worked at the hematite plant in Jefferson County. In 1957, he was exposed to a direct radiation spill, he and a couple other co-workers. So he spent a few days in a hospital for detoxing, and from that point on, he never really did have, all his health was never brought back to a normal condition. In 1964, he was diagnosed with renal cancer and had lost his right kidney. In 1969, he died at age 48 with renal cancer, metastasized to the lungs and onto the brain.
Now, powerful radiation strikes, and cells are injured or destroyed. If radiation stops before the accumulated dose is too great, almost all of the damage eventually will be repaired. If radiation continues, there are some cells less able to function at top efficiency. Should the body fall behind in its recovery, severe illness or death could result. The key then is the amount, the total dose of radiation received.
For me personally, I had a lot of unusual health issues myself when I was younger, but what really stuck out to me as I was growing up and as a teenager, a lot of people in my network of life, whether it be through my church, my school, sports teams, music teachers, people started getting sick, and they were very sick with rare cancers, rare diseases, unusual things, and most of these people had a pretty conservative lifestyle. And so I myself, I'm an accountant, and so I started keeping a list because that's what I do. And it just didn't sit right with me that I knew so many very ill people. And it wasn't until 2011, until a friend of mine from high school named Jeff Armstead, he started a group on Facebook, because he thought something might be a little odd. So people started coming forward very quickly with a lot of rare cancers and unusual cancers. Cancers that we have learned are linked to ionizing radiation exposure. Some of the rare cancers, one in particular that's really just hard to wrap our brains around, is appendix cancer, a very rare form of appendix cancer. We have more than 45 cases that have volunteered to come forward and share, yes, my loved one or myself, I have been diagnosed with this rare cancer. And from information from the federal government, we should have maybe 2 or 3 cases in this geographical area based on our population size, but we have over 45. We also have just really high numbers of brain cancer, brain tumors that are fatal. We also have a lot of non-smoking lung cancer, a lot of female sexual organ cancers, and breast cancer. And we also have things like male breast cancer. And we have a lot of pancreatic cancer. We have original source liver cancer, so not metastasized liver cancer, but cancer that actually originates in the liver. We have a lot of colon cancer and stomach cancer, so a lot of digestive tract cancers. We also have non-smokers reporting throat cancer. In addition to those cancers, we have autoimmune disorders, in particular lupus. We have streets where you'll have 3 or 4 houses in a row with people saying they have lupus. And then you have multiple sclerosis in very high numbers as well, which is an autoimmune disorder. So MS and lupus both. We also have reports of other autoimmune diseases that seem very unlikely. But the thing also about lupus is we have men reporting that they have lupus, which if you study lupus, it's typically presenting in a female, but we have a lot of males who also have reported lupus. One other thing I do want to mention is we have a lot of birth defects in our children, both birth defects that take their lives as well as birth defects that affect their development seriously.
An atom is part of a molecule, and molecules are parts of the cell. The cell is the structural and functional unit of all living matter, a tiny machine with a basic job to do. Cells, operating with thousands of other cells of various shapes and performing special chores, make up tissues and organs. Organs are departments in a complex factory, the human body, which is engaged in the manufacture of an important product, life. An atom then seems unimportant and infinitesimal. A tiny cog on a small wheel in a miniature machine which, if multiplied millions of times, forms the going concern that is you. But if enough of the cogs are broken through ionizing radiation, the gears grind, the machines falter, stop, the factory shuts down.
My wife and I met in high school, and we were married in February of 1970, and we moved here in Florissant in 1974. Our first child Stephen was born in 1971. And it was at the ideal time for the kids to be playing in the creeks as he